Hello everyone, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back, and today we are giving our ninth hurricane season forecast update and some very important changes to the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Now, before we get started, be sure to like the video and subscribe with those notifications on if you guys haven't already, because I know most of you watching are not subscribed. So hit that red button, and we're going to get started with today's video. So here we go, 2021 hurricane season forecast and discussion number 9. Some pretty big changes to our 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, the forecast, and how it could turn out overall. So here are our tracks so far. We had Anna, we have Bill here, all right. We had Claudette, of course, that came across Louisiana. Pretty much looks the same as what I showed you in the last hurricane discussion. There is Danny, and of course, the Elsa, the storm that ended all storms. No, I'm kidding. But Elsa was a pretty big deal. Well, impacted a lot of areas across, the Caribbean and the Southeast as well, and the Mid-Atlantic, and even the Northeast. It was everywhere. So here we are getting started here with our Nino 3-4 region. Of course, if you watch these, you know what type of order we go in here. So starting with August here, negative 0.3, as it looks from the Bureau of Meteorology. But look at October and December. We dropped to negative 0.6. Now, the only reason I shouldn't be adding December on here because it's not part of the hurricane season. The only reason I did that is because if there was any change between October and December, you could see the change. And maybe you could, make your own prediction for what November would have been like, because these maps go every 2 months. So it skips over a month, August to October, and then October to December. That's just how these maps work. But as you can see, heading towards that La Nina, if not almost hitting it. And here we have our kind of like an ensemble models here. And you can see new changes to this. So here we are in July. This is our month-to-date analysis point right here. All right, so everything solid black line is all past stuff, and everything in the green is future stuff. And then like the dotted line is like your month to date. So kind of like how we started off the month and how we could, potentially end the month right here. All right, so definitely on a downward trend. And you can see by October, November, or even the end of September, we pretty much get to that La Nina zone. And a lot of models do point out that, but there's also a lot of models that still keep us in a neutral. All right. And I will be showing you why we could be heading back toward the La Nina, right? So, and also I will be explaining why we are seeing kind of like a lull in Atlantic activity right now. There's definitely an explanation to that. So here is the Southern Oscillation Index, all right? And the latest 30-day value is 16.3 right here. Now, the text here that I put says above 8, and you can look on the Birdmology site yourself if you don't believe me. Positive values above 8 indicate a La Nina event, or at least La Nina conditions, while below negative 8 indicates a potential El Nino event, or El Nino conditions, right? And you see we had that potentially during 2019. We had some pretty low Southern Oscillation Index values. And right now we're going up a lot as well. So that's one sign, right? Our Southern Oscillation Index. This does go up and down, but I mean, it's been over 8 even back in January as well. It was a big spike there. So we're still seeing a spike to this day. Now, this was just put out by the Climate Prediction Center. Summary, we are now in a La Nina watch. All right, and this isn't because for the La Nina we just had in the past. This is for another La Nina maybe coming up. So ENSO neutral conditions are present. That is true. Equatorial sea surface temperatures are near average across most of the Pacific. That's true, but they're dropping. And here is the ENSO neutrals favored through the northern hemisphere summer into the fall. 51% chance for August, September, October season, with maybe even La Nina potentially emerging during the September-November season. And if that's the case, September, October are 2 very active months in the season. So that's something. And even November, we can still see activity as well. So that's not good. And then lasting maybe through the winter. But of course, we're not talking about the winter in this video. But of course, a possibility. So last hurricane discussion, I'm pretty sure the Nino 3-4 was like 0.2 or something like that. It wasn't in the negatives. It is now. Now, just because it's negative doesn't mean it's a La Nina, because it's only negative 0.1 in the Nino 3-4 region, which is right in the middle right here. If you forget where the Nino 3-4 region is, an easy way to remember is just go along the equator and then pretty much go due south of Hawaii, and you pretty much have your zone right here. That's the way I like to remember it. So that's your zone right here between Nino 3 and 4. That's why it's called 3-4. And then 1-2 is over here. So our Nino 3-4, if we look here, of course, was a lot lower earlier in the year, of course, than we had our more concentrated La Nina. But if you look very closely, we're going on a small downward trend. I know it's very hard to see, all right, but we are going on a downward trend for sure towards La Nina. All right, again, this pretty much looks the same because this doesn't update very often at all. I just wanted to show it again. This is the showing we had La Ninas in the past, of course, for this year. for January, February, March, April, May. All right, and then we'll get June. I'm sure once August starts, I think we get our June update. Of course, these do take a while to make. Now, this was just updated. This is the CPC probabilistic ENSO outlook. I think the last one we looked at, it was updated on June 10th. We got another one from July 8th. All right, and look at this. La Nina chances, all right, do go up. So ENSO neutral is favored. All right, it's above 50% chance, and it's all right. It's better than our La Nina chances through July and August. We'll probably still have a neutral. All right, but then look, September it almost becomes a toss-up. Neutral has a 50% chance, and a La Nina has a 45% chance, and El Nino, poor El Nino, has a 5% chance. Poor El Nino has been kind of kicked to the curb recently. I know, right? I mean, look, last time we had any El Nino conditions was the summer of 2019. So it's literally been 2 years. So poor El Nino's getting kicked to the curb here. All right, so, all right, looking at this, La Nina chances take over October and November, the 2 last months of hurricane season, both of which, well, pretty much October can be the active one. November, we can still see activity, though, and then, of course, maybe lasting into the winter. But then, look, neutral might take over again. So it's like a battle between La Nina and neutral, and El Nino's just standing back like, I don't want to get in the way. That's sort of the battle we're seeing here. So we'll see, depending on if La Nina takes over earlier, even though neutral can lead to favorable hurricane seasons as well, and more active ones, if La Nina takes over earlier, we'll have a more active hurricane season. If neutral holds for a little bit more, we might not have as an active a hurricane season, but still very active. All right, and again, like I said earlier, I'm going to explain why we're in a bit of a lull right now. So this map hasn't changed. This is updated June 18th. I'm sure there'll be an update very soon. But again, you can see the climatological models do keeping us, pretty much near our La Nina range. And once we get an update to this, I'm sure we'll get a better look at it because the models have changed a lot since then. But this has updated. This was issued July 19th here, as you can see. And the CFS model outlooks, again, look how we drop. I mean, pretty much at September. This is ASO. The middle month is S. That's September. And ASO, like that can mean end of August, September, and early October. But I just like to think of it as, just the middle number, which is the middle letter, which is S. But anyway, you can see we're pretty much at 0.5, which is La Nina conditions. Now, of course, we do need to hold there for a while for it to officially be a La Nina. All right, and then pretty much holding that way until maybe we might come out to a neutral once again by the late winter. We'll see. We're just focusing on the fall because that's hurricane season. So here is September, right? Look over here. We see a lot of blues here through October, through November, and then through the rest of the winter, then fading away as we head towards the late part of the winter. All right, so here is our models here for August, September, October, November. You can see, I'm not gonna waste too much time with this one, but you can see the models do move towards the left more. All right, you can see that's definitely a noticeable change, right? Here's August. All right, look how much closer the models get to that blue line. And of course, I didn't include December because it's not hurricane season. But you can see pretty much the mean, which is the sum of all 7 of these models here, brings us to about -0.6, -0.7. All right, so which is definitely La Nina criteria. Now, something that has changed, and this is what I really want to talk about, because the sea surface temperatures and the anomalies have gone absolutely insane, like up. And that's good news for hurricane development, and that's not good news for us. All right, so looking at this is the latest from July 24th from the NOAA here. And the tropical Atlantic, look off the coast of Africa, we've warmed up a good bit, even in the MDR region, just to the south of it as well. The only spot that's maybe cooled down a little bit is the southern part of the Caribbean, like right here. And we usually don't see too much activity go like south in the Caribbean. Usually activity comes in maybe from the east and goes to the north, or maybe activity might develop here and go this way. So we don't see too much activity in the southern Caribbean, usually. It can still happen, though. But the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of Mexico has gotten extremely warm, like extremely warm. I know the anomalies don't look that impressive, and still between like 1, maybe even up to 2 degrees Celsius above average. But when I show you the SSTs from the Gulf of Mexico, it's gonna blow your mind. And even in the subtropical northern Atlantic, we're seeing some above average waters as well. So things have really changed. We thought there were sea surface temperatures going down, and now they're starting to go back up again. But look what is going down. Look how we're starting to see the blues once again. These were faded away for the longest time. They were all grays and maybe little spots of blue and yellow. Now blues have taken over again in the Nino 3-4 region, like major takeover. So that's potentially, that's going to be potentially a turnover towards La Nina once again. And I know some of the climatological models say it may not happen until October, maybe September. I do agree with that. I think based on this, though, I mean, it looks like it could happen pretty quickly here. The Blues, seriously, if you looked at my last hurricane discussion video, I took a look from July 10th, I think it was, or something like that. And really, the Blues weren't really there that much. All right, so definitely a big change. So here's a close-up of the Gulf and the Caribbean. Again, here's the Gulf of Mexico, 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above average. Caribbean, the southern part, a little bit below average, but the northern Caribbean and the eastern Caribbean, the two spots where the two most active spots in the Caribbean here, I'll put them as a tie for first, because I don't know which one is more active. But these two spots are more active. And of course, these are our number one spots. And of course, both of those are above average. So here's a snapshot here from windy.com. And I did find a reading, okay, not too close to land, pretty much in this area. If you were to go to windy.com, go in the northern Gulf of Mexico, go under sea surface temperature, and I found an 88-degree reading, pretty much due south of Lake Charles. All right, anybody think, oh, okay, that's one spot. What's the big deal? No. A lot of the spots here, I'll even show you towards the end of the video. Stick around for that. But most of the Gulf was actually 85, 86. That is insane. Considering that we don't see the warmest water usually until September, that is insane. We still got like 2 months. And the west coast of Florida, like closer to land, sea surface temperatures were reading 87. So very, very warm. And you're pretty much doomed if a tropical system comes through there. All right, but I'll save that for the end of the video. I'll actually go through it live if you want me to, so stick around for that. So here is the sea surface temperature trends over the past 7 days. Again, look at the Gulf. It has really trended upward by as much as 1 to 2, even closer to 3 degrees Celsius above average. MDR, tropical Atlantic, has also trended upward. Caribbean, again, is the only place, the southern Caribbean, you've trended downward a little bit, as well as up off the east coast because of storms that we had going through there recently. But of course, I'm sure that'll recover soon. So again, look at this, upwards of 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius gain in just the past week across the Gulf of Mexico there. All right, moving on to dry air now. Dry air across the Gulf, very little, if not non-existent. Same for the Caribbean, and same for the East Coast. The only place that we still have the dry air, of course, is a place you really don't want it if you want tropical storms, and that's the tropical Atlantic, because that's where we see storms start to come up here during like late July, August, and September. And in October, it can still happen, but October, we start to see activity shift close to home a little bit more. But typically this time of year, we don't see as much activity close to home. It can still happen, right? We have 90L sitting right here, so it can still happen. But we start to see more activity come off here. These little lows will march off the coast of Africa, and I'm going to show you why this could change pretty soon. Dry air is withered out a little bit. I can tell it's not as intense. Like not too long ago, these pinks were pretty much covering this entire zone here once again. Like it was starting to look like March, where we see all this dry air coming off. It really hasn't shrunk much in coverage, but I can say it has definitely shrunk in intensity. And that's a step in the right direction for hurricane development for sure. Now, here is what I want to show you. So this is the MJO forecast, right? And these are like the CHI forecasts that I show you, right? Where I show you like the convection and stuff. This is pretty much the same thing. This is the same thing. But it does, I like showing this because it's stacked vertically and it's easier for me to show you what I want to show you. So, of course, you can see the timestamps here. So this is the 25th of July, 30th, 4th of August. This goes all the way to the 3rd day of September here. It's a 40-day forecast. And I want you to notice something. Do you notice how we start off the top here, pretty much like right now? Look how all the reds are in Africa and, just south of India here. But notice as we head through time, look how the reds move east, right? They move east in this direction as we head through time. The reds and oranges move by east a little bit more as we head through time, all right? Notice at the top, notice how we're in a dry pattern in the Atlantic, right? And notice how the Pacific, especially the West Pacific, was getting really active. We had Info, which I just did a video on that, Tropical Cyclone Info. If you want to go watch that, feel free after this video. And we have, there's another one that starts with an N. I can't think of the name of it because it's very hard to pronounce. But there's at least two tropical cyclones over in the West Pacific right now. Very active, right? Well, guess what? That green pattern is going to move east across the Atlantic. So look as we head through time. Look how we start to see greens merging in the Atlantic as we head through August and then into September, all right? So this green moves to the east. This orange and red moves to the east. And guess what? Behind that orange and red, we have more green once again coming in from west to east. So this all moves in a pattern. And we just happen to be in a pattern right now in the Atlantic where we are under this red stuff right here. We just can't see this far north, but the reds are there. So eventually, and we're at the end of that pattern, we're getting towards the end of that drier pattern. So those greens are going to start moving in, and things are going to start picking up again through August, and then into September. And then guess what? Maybe it might quiet up again. Maybe late September and October. Then maybe October it might pick up again. So it depends how fast this moves and the pattern it moves in. But just know that this helps you see better. And we're going to look at more maps like we did with the last ones, the other maps that I showed you with the models. But this one I wanted to show you because you can see how it moves from west to east. All right, and here are those maps, right? You can pretty much see it here as well. Here is a GEFS run. All right, this is from the 26th of July through 2nd of August. Dry air is here. All right, and here's your more intense convection and dry air over here. All right, now look what happens as we head towards the 4th of August and 11th of July. These greens have moved east. All right, the reds haven't moved much because they're still staying there, but the green has moved to the east. All right, and this isn't, I mean, this is only going out like what? This is only advancing another week or so, so not really moving much. But the CFS, you can see it a lot better. So again, here's your less convection, more convection, less convection, all right? So look what happens to everything as we move. So this is 25th of July through the 1st of August. Here's 1st of August to the 8th of August. Now the Atlantic and the Pacific are more active in terms of convection, and the West Pacific and the Indian Ocean are less active. So everything is moving west to east, right? Look, here we go again. We are in higher convection in the Atlantic, 8th of August to the 15th of August. And then we see dry air and less convection over the West Pacific once again. And then guess what? Once that moves into the Atlantic, this will move back here again. So it's amazing to see how the pattern, how it all works. All right, moving on to oceanic heat content. We have a lot of it, especially in the northern half of the Caribbean, and even in the little spot in the Gulf of Mexico there, a lot, like pretty much maxed out here. Of course, that's where the Gulf Stream is, but even Gulf as a whole, we're going to see some pretty medium amounts of oceanic heat content. Of course, that's good for development. Wind shear, honestly, wind shear is not very bad. There are some spots that do have higher shear, indicated by the red, which is the Eastern Caribbean, maybe near Bermuda. But in general, I mean, look at the Gulf, the Eastern Gulf in general, the Northern Caribbean, even the Southeast coast where 90L is sitting right now, and the tropical Atlantic, not too much wind shear right now. All right, and here's another look at that wind shear. So again, the blues and the greens indicate, for the most part, not too much shear. Of course, we do have, again, splotches where that is a bit higher. But even look at the tropical Atlantic. Like, it's pretty much non-existent. All right, like there's the Cape Verde Islands right there. This is where tropical activity is going to start merging off the coast of Africa, and there's not much shear. The problem is, though, we have dry air. All right, so looking at the Caribbean here, Caribbean shear has gone up and down. For now, it seems to be below average. But look at this. This is kind of alarming. Look at the tropical Atlantic. The tropical Atlantic has been below average ever since like the middle part of June. Like, it hasn't gone above average really yet. All right, so it's pretty much staying below average, and usually it's not that consistent. Look, usually it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. But now we're seeing consistently wind shears that are below average. So that's a bit of a alarm to set off here. Not want to panic anybody, but just know that this hurricane season could start to turn for the more active side August, September, October. It's a possibility, not likelihood. 1991 to 2020 average, of course, new numbers coming in. 14.73 is our average season. Colorado State University is calling for 29 storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. All right, again, there's your new averages effective for this year. And again, we're going to get new averages if we continue trending in this direction, right? When we get our 2001 to 2030 averages, maybe these will change again. All right, so again, we had these changes. This change probably happened in 2011. In 2011, we got these averages, all right? And probably in 2001, we got 1971 to 2000 averages. It's just how it works every 10 years. All right, so keep that in mind as well. Here is a 9th Atlantic hurricane season forecast. Again, I really haven't made any changes to my forecast. I like sticking with the number I have now. And remember, these are not additional storms. These include the storms we already had. So the first 5, including ENSO. All right, so if you really want to make my forecast like an additional, if you will, so we've had 5 named storms so far, right? And we've had 1 hurricane. So my number would probably be 11 to 16 additional named storms, 7 to 9 additional hurricanes, and 2 to 4 additional major hurricanes because we haven't had any yet. And you can read the rest right here. I'll give you guys a second to read it. But just know that the hurricane season could be turning for the more active side. And again, all 3 of these weather outlets here, Colorado State University, AccuWeather, the Weather Channel, all have gone, even North Carolina State University, I think they have some pretty high numbers as well. I just couldn't really fit it onto this graphic, so to speak. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I also did a video on Invest 90L just talking about the latest updates and some impacts it could have for the Southeast Coast. So be sure to go check that out. I am the Weather Dude signing off. Till next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.